Hello, it's been a hot minute and I'm back because on Amazon there was this sale kind of going on, the Dutch Amazon, and a lot of decks that had been in my wish list for a while, and I hadn't really been checking my wish list that much. But they were really, really cheap all of a sudden, especially mostly rock pool decks. And I decided to get some of them that kind of had been on my list for a while, and this is one of them. And the Saltwater reading cards by Laura Bowen. She has other decks with rock pool, but I really wanted this because I am a total earth and water baby. I barely have any water placements, but I in my birth chart, but I always felt very attracted to the water, and not necessarily to Australia, and these are a very Australian product, but I was really, really intrigued by this folkloristic Aboriginal art style, which I love, and I don't know, this whole set just struck a chord with me, if you get what I'm saying. So it's in quite a big box. Let me turn it like this. This is the old school rock pool deck boxes with the magnetic clasp. I've already opened these. I flicked through them really quickly, so this is kind of going to be an unboxing. Let's see what the back says. Laura has beautifully captured the very essence of saltwater and its eternal life force for Indigenous Australia. That's quite a feat. Aboriginal Australia has had a deep relationship for thousands of years with its surrounding waters, which contains some of the most unique plants and animals in the world. Laura Bowen's beautiful set of 36 cards will introduce readers to the ancient wisdom from the saltwater habitat. These cards are powerful meditation showing you an underwater world that can help you navigate the more challenging areas of life and connect you with the healing and transformational spirit of the ocean. The detailed explanations and interpretations throughout the accompanying booklet will guide you towards an understanding and offer ways to work with this wisdom in your life. Laura Bowen is a writer, artist, and nature lover. Her Indigenous connections are to the Warimi Biripi people of the Manning River area of New South Wales, Australia. So I think this is really, really cool. Now, this deck is probably one of the first couple decks that Rockpool did, back when they still had this box. As you can see, the cards are up top. Let me tell you why. When you buy one of these older Rockpool decks, and I haven't really kept them, but they kind of come in this weird plastic inlay that, in my opinion, more often damages the cards rather than does good, so I just toss those aside whenever I get the chance. I do have a couple more decks that do that. So it says booklet, but it's a pretty hefty guidebook. And it contains so much information. It is a pretty straightforward oracle deck. But, you know, I actually kind of wanted to get The Whispers of the Ocean by Angela Hartfield. But I decided to not get that and get this, because with this one, the cards, you just get a really good keyword. And there's a lot of shadowy stuff in here as well, and it's not as affirmation-y, so I feel like for me it's more usable. Do I like the art from that Whispers of the Ocean deck a little bit more than this? Yes, but in the end, this folk art is way more interesting. So we get a really, really, really cool introduction right here with a really cool poem, I think. So that's really great, with a lot of explanations, and I still have to read through this about, you know, where this deck came from, how to use the card. There's really interesting spreads here, which I like. Working with saltwater. So this is really, really interesting as well. Kind of a magic section. And then you kind of go into the cards. So you can very clearly see that we have a full color guidebook. It's really good quality. Even the paper is superb quality. We get a full image of the card, full color. So a card will look like this. Albatross, you have the art right here, and then you have endurance. So that's a really great keyword. I really like decks like that have good words, so I can use them right out of the box if I want to, but I can also open up the guidebook to see why that keyword is connected to the albatross. And I find that the keywords that were chosen here for this deck differ from other decks in regards to that they're not always so super obvious. So I really like that. And we're gonna go deeper into this guidebook near the end, because I am gonna draw a card and read a passage. But I just really like this. Laura Bowen is the author and the illustrator. The artworks, how they were made, I really like that. And then you get a selection of other rock pool decks that were out at the time. So this was very, very at the beginning of, you know, the rock pool products. So there aren't that many yet. This one is really campy. The flower reading cards by Sherilyn Darcy are really cool. The Australian wildflower ones as well. They also kind of have that folky feel. And then you have, you know, but from these older ones, I would say I like the Dreamtime, the Angel reading, the Flower reading. The Wildflower cards are pretty cool. But, you know, any Sherilyn Darcy deck is gonna be good. And that's about it. Those are my favorite ones from the slightly older rock pool decks. So, let's get into the cards. So here we have that albatross, which I love, which says endurance. By the way, the backs are stunning. The blue bottles, abandonment. So this triggers me. This makes me want to learn and pick up the guidebook. So we may do that later if we get that card. Blue groper, gender roles. I think this is very interesting. I don't know half of the creatures in here, so another one where I'm like, that's a really interesting choice of words to have in an oracle deck that we don't really ever see. So it just makes it really special. Bubbler crab, creativity. I really like this art style, y'all. Corral, strength. Crocodile, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Hidden obstacles, really good. Dolphin, be joyful. That one's a little bit more, you know, we very often see dolphins with joy or play. I'm guilty of that as well in one of my own decks, but you know, it's a really good illustration. Dugong, appearances. So once again, curious about that. Want to check that out. The eel, defensiveness. Fish, learning. Giant clam, harmony. Hermit crab, gratitude. Jellyfish, transparency. That's another one that kind of makes sense, but you know, they're really interesting keywords. Lionfish, individuality. Mangroves, innovation. Do love this art as well, so good. Manta ray, hey, that's the box art. Friendship. And you know what's really funny? It's funny that they chose this for the box, because this piece of art right here is, I mean, I like it now, but this is what has kept me from buying the deck for all these years. I think it's one of the less stronger pieces of art in the deck. Octopus, adore this one. Be aware. Orca, communications. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Oysters, investment. Pelican, self-sacrifice. Penguins, trust. Oh, they're so cute. Plankton, basics. Like, oh man, like this is the kind of like, this is the kind of vocab I can work with. Reef, abundance. Rock pool, healing. I believe that they're now officially out of print at Rockpool themselves, and they're reprinting them probably on better cardstock. I like this type of cardstock because Rockpool's older cardstock is very glossy, but it shuffles really well and it fans out really well. You know, that's the big perk you get from gloss. And I don't feel like I'm going to be getting them for a tenner anymore once the new print run comes out. So, Rough Seas, The Unexpected, Sea Anemones, Boundaries. Yes, I love that. Seagull, Opportunity. Like, you know, this woman speaks my language, honestly, literally. Seahorse, Family. Seashells, Guidance, gorgeous. Sea Snake, Letting Go. Sea Sponge, Emotional Overload. Shark, Action. Starfish, Symbols. Aw, I love starfish symbolism. It's so cool. Tides, Cycles. This also is like one of my ultimate favorites from the deck. I love this image. And another one, Turtle, Instinct. Oh man, turtles. Like, she chose a lot of water animals. I chose a lot of similar water animals in my Primordial Warrior Oracle. I chose the keyword Navigate for the turtle because they do have this instinct that from the moment they're born, they know, because where baby turtles are hatched and where they live are two different places, and they sometimes are very far apart. And baby turtles have are born with this instinct that immediately tells them where they belong, and they crawl out of their eggs and they swim to it. It's so cool. Such a wonder of nature. And the last card, yes, number 36, The Whale, Grief. Rockpool are kind of known for a lot of their own publications having 36 cards. I've always wondered why. 44 cards is like a nice minimum for me. No, let me rephrase that. 40 cards is sort of a minimum for me. However, you know, for 10 euros, and great content like this, I can forgive a company putting, you know, a couple of cards less in a deck. I just think it's fabulous. I think it is a fabulous set. I really enjoyed unboxing this with you because, you know, like I said, I had flicked through them really quickly yesterday, but I didn't really have the time for it. So let's see how they shuffle. Really, really well. That's really amazing. So I'm going to shuffle them a couple of times. Overhand shuffling is fine as well. You know, like, as much as we bitch about the gloss, I'm really glad that the rose petal finish hype is kind of over, because that was just too clumpy for me. And it only kind of worked for me with slightly bigger oracle sized cards. So, you know, but, you know, I don't think we're ever going to come back to this kind of gloss, which I think is a good thing because it can be kind of annoying, especially for people that do online film readings like me. But, you know, for real life readings, look at that fan. Perfect. Real life readings is just, it's just fine. And, you know, rock pools aren't that glossy to begin with, so let me intuitively select a card. Which one is it? It's that one, yeah. That one, huh? That one, yes. Ooh, we get the sea snake. I was kind of curious about that, I'm not gonna lie. Number 30, sea snake. All right. So let's check the guidebook. It says letting go. It looks like this snake is also kind of shedding or excreting something. I don't really know many sea snakes, so let's see. Card 30, sea snake, letting go. Of all the snakes that live in the water, the yellow-bellied sea snake is the one who lives the furthest from land, preferring the open sea to reefs or shallows. It grows to approximately 150 centimeters long and has relatively small eyes. Like most aquatic snakes, it has paddle-like tail which has adapted over time to increase its swimming ability. Unlike some of the aquatic snakes, this particular sea snake lives its life in open water, with not very many structures like coral or submerged branches surrounding it. The yellow-bellied sea snake can also absorb around a quarter of its oxygen needs through its skin, which allows it to dive for longer periods before surfacing for air. It needs to shed its skin more regularly than any other snake to rid itself of parasites, which can hinder its ability to swim and survive in the ocean. So it does kind of need to renew the skin in order for it to breathe even. Wow, that's pretty intense. Cool. Let's see. Unlike most snakes who rub against something rough in order to help shed their skin, this niche sea snake has to twist itself in such a way that it rubs against itself. In order to dislodge its old skin and swim free without the parasites that weigh it down and cause it to swim off course. The sea snake's message is one of letting go. It knows that sometimes this process is not easy, even when we know we have to let go of something or someone. We struggle with the decision and often twist ourselves in knots internally while we work through the process of moving forward. The sea snake challenges you to let go of everything that's holding you back or hindering your ability to live your life to the fullest. This process can be painful, and often we feel that if we just stay still and stop moving, we may be able to keep everything the way it is now. But doing this in the ocean would be a slow death. You must move forward, and you must finally allow that which you have outgrown to be shed. I've been getting a lot of outgrown messages lately, so for me, this really resonates. And if it resonates for you as well, that's completely fine. This has been Levi from Masculine Intuition Readings with the Saltwater reading cards published by Rockpool Publishing. Written and illustrated by Laura Bowen. This has been fabulous. Laura knows how to write a deck, so thank you for watching, and bye-bye.